Hello, my name's David. I'm an environment artist. Welcome to the second video on Metroid Prime 4. I've opened up the game a little bit. I've got access to some new gadgets. Just got this rather cool flame heat weapon. Mackenzie, our buddy, has fixed it up for us. There he is. Thank you very much. You're being very unobtrusive. So, doing a good job. Doing a good job. So, let's get moving into the new bits that I've unlocked. Now, I've been having some technical sort of fiddles and stuff. Last video was in 1080p as far as the Switch menu said. I mean, it looked fairly good for all that, but I've got my HDR settings better. It seems like the Switch 2 can't output 4K HDR through the capture card, as far as I'm seeing. If I switch off HDR, I can output 4K. So, there we go. But if I try and capture with HDR, it just looks greyed out. Very washed out. So like there's this sort of grey filter over everything. It just looks rubbish. So, we don't want that, do we? Well, fairly flame resistant that one, or at least a little bit. Better to use the missiles on that, I suppose. Any more baddies? Any more baddies around? No. This was a door I unlocked with the flame weapon. And there's some elemental doors in there. So, can't really open any of them yet, because I've not got the elemental weapons required. So, there's our favourite tree there. So, let's proceed along. Go. It's a great looking game, isn't it? Whatever you think about the game itself, it is a great looking game. It's just really good decisions have been made throughout. When you're tailoring a game for the Switch 1, you're straddling sort of Switch 2 and Switch 1 sort of generation. You're always going to be hamstrung by that to a huge amount. There's just some things that you're going to have to be held back by. And so the decisions that they've made, though, have, been just really good. The materials are really good. They've done a lot of outstanding material work. And, as a consequence of that, the low poly or relatively low poly environments, it works really well. It works really well. They're never going to be able to compete with, top-end console or PC sort of content, is it? You just don't have the machinery in the handheld device. You literally don't have the physical components to compete with a modern PC game. So, no matter how good a game it is, it's never going to look as good as a modern PC release. It's just impossible. But that's, it doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't really matter. It's still a fantastic game. It's really well made. It does everything it needs to really well. Yeah. So here we are. We're leaving the tree zone and coming into the desert hub. And we've got, as you see, what amounts to a, relatively long loading screen, isn't it? It's, I was thinking that big desert hub might be effectively a loading screen in some clever way, where as you get closer to those areas, that it will be streaming in assets. I mean, for all I know, maybe it is as well. But, the length of that cutscene / loading screen kind of belies that, I think. I think that, that's, everything's getting loaded in there. And the big open desert world is just a really cool desert open world. And there's been different opinions on that, haven't there? I've seen, some people really liking it, some people thinking it's boring. Why is it there? And, all that sort of stuff. And dispatch this fellow before I get the bike out. Well, we'll talk about the desert, won't we? We'll talk about the desert. Let's get the bike. And it's multi-shot frisbee, which is pretty good. Where did that other one go? Oh, there you are. Bye. Right. Let's get on the bike. I love this bike. I think it is brilliant. Again, opinions seem to be mixed. Oh. Bye-bye. Good stuff. But I love it. I love it down to even the colour. I mean, check out the... I mean, it's easy just to kill those guys as well, isn't it? Lovely. Nice. Pleasure to use. But just check out the wheels. They're just sinking slightly into the sand, aren't they? They're sitting on the ground really nicely. Making nice little tracks. Front and rear wheels making their own little tracks. Really maneuverable. You know, I can kind of hold the left trigger and sort of have this much more controllable, tight sort of control. And then let go and we go into sort of faster mode. Stick it back in again. Little donut. Really easy to control. Who's that shooting at me? Someone was firing at me there, weren't they? Who knows? But yeah, so here we enter the hub, as it were. And yeah, a lot of people are like, Snowy Mountain next. Snowy Mountain's next. But yeah, big old expanse, you know, and I was thinking like, could be a bit boring. It looks a bit boring. There's not much there, is there? You know, I mean, like, is there any stuff actually here to give you an excuse to sort of explore it? And I mean, you know, the answer is a little bit no, I suppose. That there's not really much here other than resource collection and the odd baddie so far. But it's strangely compelling, this desert. I mean, you've got this fast bike, which is amazing to control and a lot of fun. And a really, you know, what amounts to a really lovely desert. You know, I really like this desert. I think it looks great. Oh, look at this. Oh, wow. I've not actually seen this bit yet. I've not been on this bit. So that's a bit of a new thing there. Oh, look at those things. Oh, wow. Right, massive. This is like a sort of sea basin almost, isn't it? Excellent. Oh, let's get out of there. But it's just so damn big. This desert is huge. It's like a massive Hyrule field sitting between all the biomes. And, I mean, I love how big it is. It doesn't really matter there's not that much to do. It's just a pleasure riding around. You know, it's fun. It really plays to the strengths of the motorbike. It allows you to collect resources, but it gives a size to the world. You know, like, because, say, over there, can't quite see it here because it's off the edge there. Well, let's say there's the tree zone, a whole big lush sort of, you know, area, isn't it? And then next to it there, that's the Snowy Mountain zone, which I've not visited yet. But, you know, this desert gives them a distance between them. You know, it goes a long way toward moderating that sort of age-old issue of biomes being really close to each other, doesn't it? Like, you know, in an open world game, your snowy biome is like right up against the desert biome, which is right up against the swamp or whatever. And this size of this desert, it makes it feel more like a true open world. You know, there's a distance to traverse between the biomes. I think it's really good. Yeah, I really like it. So I think we'll just have a quick nip over to that volcano land over there, which it gave us a quite a clever little peek at a different biome, the first one after the tree zone, and it let us see all the, you know, interesting new vibe of lava, rock, volcanic surfaces, and it gave us that peak enough to get our new weapon, the heat gun, and then it kind of closed it off and forced us to go back there to Mackenzie to upgrade our gun, and now it's suggesting we go to the Ice Mountain Snowy Zone. So interesting and quite intelligent way of letting you get an idea of the size of this desert, you know, and how cool it is. Whoa, it's big. Like a, what is that? Like a crate dragon from Tatooine, maybe? Get a boost. No, boost is still recharging. See you later. Right. Right, so yeah, that's the entrance over there to this volcanic zone. Oh, it's under the sand there, isn't he, that one? Interesting. So, Carrie just collecting a few green crystals. Absolute pleasure to do that on the bike. And there we go. So each zone is accessed through this sort of like little canyon off the main desert. And then we come down here and we'll load it up through here. Woo, beep, 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 beep. The ingenious sort of bike-powered door mechanism. Come loading screen again. That flying baddie was trying to get us there. Did you see him? Just behind us. We've escaped. Look at that. What a sleek beast it is. Love that purple colour. Excellent. And here we are. Very nice. So, really cool new biome. Lots of volcanism. Yeah, great. So, we'll get off the bike. Really nice. I'm loving these surfaces. I'm really liking the texture out. I mean, it just looks so gnarly, doesn't it? It looks really, really good. And flat polys, you know. There's no geometry supporting that, other than the little rock assets dotted around on top. The odd little shape here and there, but by and large, it's all texture out, all really nice materials. Yeah, it's really good. It's really nice. And I've been trying to kind of spot whether they're using height-based blending, and I think that they are using a really nice height-based blending. I mean, you know, when you look at this more constructed metal surface and then the volcanic rock overlaying it, and you know, you can see the painting, it's filling in the indentations in this manufactured surface. So when you're painting it, your height map is dictating where it gets filled in first. So that'll be the black areas, or what is representing the lower areas in your material. And you can see that, can't you? You know, it's creeping in between in these ridges here. And then in these circles, this is a bit of a giveaway there. You know, all those bits there. And without a height-based blending, you generally sort of see a linear fade between one surface and the next surface it's blending into. You know, so they'll literally, at some point, there'll be 50% each one faded out. And so, you know, it often looks a bit mushy. But height-based blending really allows the shapes to come out, and I think it's working really well here. So yeah, really nice material work. Really nice. Zap it there. Great. And I do have to give a big hats off to the 120 hertz mode. Oh man, it is stunning. It is really beautiful. And the irony is that, I mean, when I bought my TV, I never expected to be gaming at 120 hertz, frankly. Perhaps that was short-sighted of me in retrospect. But my TV is only 60 hertz capable. So, I mean, you know, I'm more than happy with 60 frames a second gaming. I mean, you know, that's usually my, you know, I'm more than happy just to do that. But experiencing 120 when I'm playing handheld, oh man, it's really nice, beautifully fluid. I was quite surprised actually. I've never played a game past 60. Really, I just set it at 60 and I'm happy, you know. But 120 hertz, oh man, yeah, I need a new TV, don't I? Obviously, but absolutely flawlessly 120 hertz handheld. It's brilliant. But you know, here we're at 60, and you know, wonderful for all that. So I love this surface. It's so nice. I love the volcanic textures. I love the sort of animation they've got going on it. The VFX is really good. You know, it's really selling lava there, isn't it? Because it's not that easy. You know, just getting the gloopiness feel of things like this is quite difficult. And I remember watching a VFX artist try and nail down smoke coming off burning tires, you know, like doing a wheel spin. And for the longest time, it just looked like steam. And he was like, oh man, what do you think? You know, I'm like, yeah, it looks like steam coming from a kettle, you know. And there's a very subtle difference in attributes between these things, you know. Well, what looks like steam, what is sparks, what is smoke, you know, the heaviness and how quick does it dissipate, how thin or thick does it look, and all these things, and how fast does this fall down, because it will be different from a waterfall. You know, it's you do not want that speed for a waterfall. It'll look far too slow. So, you know, you've got to kind of look at the speeds of things and how are they feeling, how are they looking. Yeah, but really happy with this game. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a brilliant game, and it's brilliant in the way that it seems like only Nintendo can pull off really on their platforms, you know, and Retro Studio just done such a great job. You know, Metroid has always had its own feel, hasn't it? It feels very different from a Sony game, for instance, you know, or something on an Xbox. They're distinctive, and they have that vibe, that feel to them, which is, yeah, so unique. And this has got it in buckets. It's just really good. I think it's been well worth the wait. And so we'll head back to the desert hub. Interesting, isn't it? I like seeing different opinions on these things, you know, and people's reasons for why they do or they don't like it. You know, I think it's all endlessly interesting how us humans are perceiving things and what we like, what we don't like. And yeah, you know, I get it. I get it that people perhaps think it's a bit bare and boring, this desert, but I see it as a desert, and there's not much in a desert, is there? And it's a big desert, and I think it works really well for all that. You know, it's a big open desert expanse, just like a big open desert expanse would be. And, you know, I don't really require anything other than that from this desert. You know, the gameplay, the nuts and bolts of it all is all over there in those levels. And this is just an ecosystem, if you will, with its own unique features and creatures. And it's a palate cleanser. It's a sorbet, isn't it? That's how I see it. Just the fact that I can drive in a straight line for so long without being impeded by all sorts of quest givers, canyons, stuff, you know, just stuff in the way. I think it's a breath of fresh air, and it's a bold, brave move. Yeah. So, well done, Retro Studios. Good stuff. Really good stuff. So that ahead is the Snowy Zone, which I will be playing next. So I will leave you here. That's my thoughts so far of having spent a few hours now. And yeah, by and large, really, really impressed. Really enjoying it. Really smart development team. Really good decisions being made. Yeah, it's really well considered. Wow, look at that squadron of baddies. And just stuff like this, you know, it's pleasant. It's a pleasure to sort of, you know, do it. There's some mild threat that turns up, but it's easy to deal with. It's not overly fiddly. So, yeah. Right, cool. I'll leave you there on the cusp of the Snowy Mountains. And hope that was interesting. Thanks for watching. And take it easy. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.